All right, let's talk about something that's going to change the way you think about ads forever. In this video, I'll be sharing why ugly ads, they actually work better than the polished, high production ones, and how you can use this simple tactic to literally print money. Most people assume that the better looking ads, they get better results. But if you've ever run paid ads and wondered why your perfect creative isn't converting, this video is going to give you that answer. The truth is, ugly ads, they don't feel like ads. So people don't automatically ignore them. They break through that ad blindness. People take notice. They look native to the platform, and they make your cost per lead drop like crazy. And if you think I'm just making this up, I'll show you real examples of the ugly ads that we're running right now that are beating our polished ads by 300% in performance. I recently taught this as a full lesson inside of my free ad community where I do a live training every single week. And this video is cut from that session. But if you want full access to these lessons, plus our 5 days to 5x ROAS course, click the link in the description and join us completely for free, no strings attached. All right, let's get into it. How to win Facebook with ugly ads. I teased this as a post inside the community, and after I posted, I was like, man, my copy could have been so much better on that because, yeah, I could have done so many funny things with it. But real quick, can everybody see my screen okay? Can I get a thumbs up from, okay, cool. Awesome. So how to win Facebook with ugly ads. Before I jump into it, actually, anybody have a guess what an ugly ad is? Is it when I put my face on there? Is it when we put Kazim's face on there? What's an ugly ad?
My guess is when there is just writing on it.
That's a good guess. Yeah, that's good. What we're going to make sure we differentiate today is ugly ads and lazy ads because I see a lot of lazy ads that are ugly, but it's not what we're going to talk about today. I think that'll be a good thing to get into later. Okay, so why ugly but ads actually make more money? So real quick, as I do every week, I'll go into who is Trevor because if I'm going to talk here, you might as well know who I am. I'm going to go into some ad agency secrets, the things that big evil oligarch agency owners like me never want you to find out. I'm going to go into the psychology of ugly ads, how to create ugly ads, tactically how to actually do it, targeting with your creative, and then we'll talk about testing and iterating. Cool. So who's this guy? Obviously, I look better in photos than I do when I wake up just out of the shower and jump on these calls. But for those that don't know me, I live in, whoops, I pressed the wrong button. I live in Sarasota, Florida. I'm a husband and a dog dad. Those are my most important titles. But I'm also an online entrepreneur. I've been doing this over a decade. My first business was in the online health space as a health coach. I struggled in that space for years until one thing finally clicked. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I've been in similar shoes to a lot of you here on this call and people that watch this replay. So what changed? Okay, in 2015, I launched my first online business. 2018, we were hovering around 10 to 20K a month, but I was exhausted. I was working like 60 to 80 hours a week. I would post pictures like this, pretending like I was so happy working from my laptop from anywhere, when in reality, I was not happy because I was working from my laptop everywhere. I was always working. It wasn't fun. I even worked my wedding day, which I'm so ashamed of now. I thought it was really cool back then. In 2018, I ran my first Facebook ad. 2019, we had our first $100,000 month. In 2020, we had our first $1 million month. And in 2021, I had multiple $1 million businesses. So I don't know why it keeps doing that. I keep going to click it and it's not working. What changed was in 2018, I ran my first Facebook ad, and that was the catalyst. I told this story to Kazim earlier. Hang on, sorry. This is why I have to have the webinar set up because it doesn't automatically let people in, and I have to sit here and like manually click, like, okay, let this person in. We trust them. They're not a bad guy. Um, Anyways, what changed was being able to run Facebook ads. I told Kazim this story. I actually ran some Facebook ads by myself for a while, kind of on and off, and wasted a lot of money. And then I ended up investing in a mentorship program to learn ads. The funny thing is, I really didn't even learn ads from this guy. I learned it from somebody else that was in the program. But regardless, I found somebody, they taught me ads, and everything kind of changed for me. Since then, I've scaled 3 businesses in 3 completely different niches of 7 figures. So coaching, SaaS, and ecom. Um, Trevor Rea training was the main business. We scaled at 7 figures, Prosper. We got that to 150K MRR in the SaaS space, and then also helped remote wellness build to 8 figures. Now, I don't tell you this to brag. Okay, I'm not going to talk about myself at all after this point in this meeting. Rather, I want to excite you about what's possible. Right? I think a lot of people that are not yet consistent with paid ads, I'm just going to be blunt. I think all you know is struggles at this point because convincing people with a small social following to just buy your stuff, I don't care what other gurus out there are going to tell you. It sucks. It's not fun. There's nothing enjoyable about messaging your friends every single day to buy your stuff, right? And if it is enjoyable to you, Tell me how. Like, share that secret sauce with me because I always hated it. Maybe you're just a better person than I am. So I want to help you get excited. Also, just grow profit ads. So we also have the agency side of things that we launched in the last couple of years. I've managed over $10 million in client ad spend, generating over $50 million, which, if my math is good, which usually it's not, it's a 5x ROAS at scale. Okay, so who is Trevor? I'm done talking about myself. Let's talk about the ad agency secrets that nobody wants you to know. So, what do ad agencies not want you to know? Okay, for years, the big ad agencies have lied to us. They say things like, you need to have pretty ads. You need to have a big budget for testing. Right? You got to come in and test 10K right away every single month, or you're just wasting your time. When really you're probably just wasting their time. You need to have high quality ads. You need to have high quality videos, right? So this big production studio, you got to do all that fancy stuff. You must put a ton of money in before you expect anything back. Here's the biggest one. You'll never be able to do this without us. It's a lie. The biggest lie is you have to have high quality ads, and I'm going to talk about that today. But all these other ones are lies too, and I just wanted to point those out. Okay, so what are ugly ads? Okay, ugly ads are ads that are simple, they're raw, they even kind of look like an amateur made them. It's a lot of times it's like a basic image with some bold text instead of a polished video, right? Not super high production stuff. Pretty ads are the things that you see where, if you're scrolling through Facebook and you see something from Coca-Cola, or you see a Super Bowl ad that somebody spent $10 million on. We're not playing the same game as those people. For starters, they're usually just trying to create awareness. They're not direct response marketers. But also, those look like ads, which is what we're going to be talking a lot about today. So here's some examples. These are 3 ads we're running right now. They're getting insane results. His ad on the left is getting a $2.70 lead. The middle one's getting a $1.90. The one on the right is getting a $3.38 leads. What do you notice about these ads? I'll go first. They suck. They're ugly. There's nothing cool about these, right? It took me 2 minutes on Canva. I know Alex knows this about me. I have a folder on my in my phone of memes. I just collect memes because I think it's fun. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just like throw some memes on there and we'll run them and see what happens. But there's nothing like the copy's not good. They're not overly creative. It's not like I made these images or anything. I just had them on my phone. I thought, I'll just run them as an ad. Now there's a science to it. We're going to talk about it. But again, I'm trying to illustrate it's not hard. Okay. So that's the ad agency secret. So let's talk about the psychology behind ugly ads. And I'm gonna let this sit here for a second because I think I'm so cool that I learned how to sneak a video in here. So I'm gonna just let that play really quick and let you guys all think I'm really smart. Okay, it's done playing. Cool. So consumers are immune to ads that look too polished. Why? Because they feel like ads. And guess what? We don't like to be advertised to. It's just a fact. The only people on this call right now that like to be advertised to are probably me and Alex because we're both advertisers and we kind of like seeing other people's ads. It's like a kink of ours, I think. Like I'm like, ooh, somebody else's ads, that's hot. Anyways, I'm gonna get in trouble. I need to not talk like that. People don't like being sold to when they're outside of a buying pocket. The key is they do like being sold to when they're inside of a buying pocket. You're never going to be in a buying pocket when you're scrolling through Facebook. So we can't feel like we're selling things in that setting. Make sense? Okay. So psychology of ugly ads. Our brains are hardwired to gravitate towards sameness and avoid things that don't fit in. Through years of evolution, if something seemed like it didn't fit in, that meant it was dangerous. Right? You're in a group of people and one person is acting kind of funny, they're probably sick, which means you might get sick. Or if you see a creature coming up that's 10 times your size, yeah, it probably wants to eat you. Obviously, these are simple examples, but because of that, our brains are hardwired to avoid things that are different. Quite frankly, it's why a lot of people end up like racist or bigots. One, because they're idiots, and two, because psychologically we can fall into traps like that. Oliver's over there laughing. He's like, hey, I'm a little racist. Just kidding. I'm sorry. It's only funny because Oliver lives in another country and I'm American uncultured. Okay. So even though you want your ads to stand out, this is only within reason, right? Everybody talks about as you're scrolling through Facebook, you need your ads to flash, you need them to pop, you need to notice, you need to take up real estate, you need to make noise. There is truth to that, right? You don't want it to blend in so that people scroll through and just don't notice it. But if it stands out like it's an ad, we have these blinders that we just turn on. I mean, everybody knows you're scrolling through and you say, "Oh, it's an ad." You don't even. It's not even a conscious response. You subconsciously just keep scrolling, right? In reality, you always want your ad to feel native to the organic platform that it's running on. Because keep this in mind, everything we're talking about here is social media ads. And social media is meant to be used in an organic way. We all scroll through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, right? But we go through it looking. It started where we were looking for our friends and we were looking for influencers we follow and we look for celebrities organically. When these ads come in, they feel intrusive. So we want our ads to not feel intrusive. We want it to just blend in with everything else they're seeing, the memes, the social media posts. If you're running e-commerce, you want it to feel like an influencer's showing you, an indirect hook. Hey, here's my house. By the way, I randomly stumbled across this product. See how it just feels more natural. So ugly, pretty ads, they feel less authentic. They're not relatable, right? If Kazim throws out an ad, it's not gonna feel relatable. He's a beautiful man, right? So he can't run ugly ads. He's gonna have to use UGC for that. But ugly ads, they bypass that subconscious biological blocker because they just don't look like ads. Okay, I've said the same thing about 10 times. So let's keep it moving. We want to create ads that feel organic to platform. They feel native to the organic platform. This is going to save you a lot of money because it's going to lower your CPMs. Facebook rewards ads that look like organic content posts. If your ad feels like an ad, it has a really high relevance score, which nobody tracks, nobody cares, but it's going to boost that's going to naturally bump up your oh my gosh, it's going to bump up your CPMs, which is going to make it more expensive to get in front of the same amount of people. You'll also have a higher hook rate. What that means is it's a metric we track where if you're putting out videos, and you could probably track this with images somehow, but for every impression or for every 1,000 impressions you get, what percentage of people actually watch the first 3 seconds of your video? If it feels like an ad, people are off that in half a second. If a lot of people are watching the first 3 seconds, that means it's something that people are engaging well with. Facebook will lower your CPMs and your cost to get in front of people. You're naturally just gonna be more trusted. You're gonna have cheaper production costs. You're gonna be able to test faster and have more insights. So really, this is gonna save you a lot of money. So the key takeaway from the psychology standpoint, ugly is all about strategy. It is not about being lazy. Okay, when we talk about ugly, we're not saying, hey, I just like grab some picture and like throw it and like pray to the ad gods that it works. There is a strategy behind this. It's not about just being lazy. And I put this here. I think this was my reminder to say we teach these things for free. I think that was my cue. Okay, so that's the psychology. So how do we actually create it? We've talked a lot about it, but how do you actually tangibly do it? Oh, another video. Yay. Okay. Simplify everything, right? So this is just showing you can go and use Canva. Use basic tools. Use your phone camera, whether that's for pictures or videos. Go use free tools like Canva. What you want to focus on is the message. So if, for example, in the ads that I showed, there was a meme and then some title font at the top, and the title font at the top is doing the heavy lifting. Our best ad right now says, learn more from this free ads course than you ever will from your $3,000 a month agency. That's a bold claim that we can fulfill on, and it calls out the right market, right? Because when I first launched ads to this community, I was saying, hey, just come into our free course. Who is attracted by that? Non-buyers, people that just like free stuff, right? That's usually the game you're playing when you're running a free lead magnet, right? You're towing a fine line there because you're just kind of giving something for free, and you have to be able to bridge that gap from somebody just coming in for free to being able to actually sell something. The way to do that is to speak to a higher level person within that market. Does that make sense? Cool. Always lead with authenticity. This is why doing the market research and the customer avatar worksheets within the free programmer that we have are so important. Because one, you want to know who you're talking to, and you want to talk to them in an authentic way. If you're just copying your competitors' ads, it will never be authentic and it won't work. Like if I went out and let's say I wanted to just knock off everything that Tina's doing, and I saw her ads and I just copied and pasted them right into my ad account, and I use the same images and everything, I would bet my house it wouldn't work because somehow, some way, people know it's not authentic, right? And to be fair, I'm probably not the kind of guy that should be helping divorced women. I don't know, it's just a feeling I have. So prioritize the offer and the headline over flashy designs, right? I see this more often not with people that are like trying to make VSLs. They have the most beautiful editing in their video, but the actual message sucks. The video itself, like actually what it's trying to accomplish, is terrible. So always prioritize for really good copy. You can always go back if you find winners, you can always go back and make something prettier and higher production value. Ultimately, great messaging and great copy is way better than a fancy design. I don't know how to get this out of the way. Sorry. Great messaging, great copy, always beats a fancy design. Cool. So then the next natural question, and this is usually from beginners, aren't ugly ads unprofessional? My question to that would be, okay, well, what's more professional? Is it more professional to look good, or is it more professional to make money? Or what's the answer from a real business owner? To make more money. Who cares if it looks good? If it makes you more money, it doesn't matter. If it helps you make more impact and do more of the thing you're trying to do. Right? Ugly ads are all about results. They're not about your ego. It's the same thing with new beginners. They always want to have this beautiful website with a landing page or a beautiful website with like this contact and about me. And it's, excuse my language, that is just like an emotional masturbation for yourself. Nobody cares about your website except you. I've seen people build $1 million businesses without a website. And I'm not, you need a funnel or something to collect leads, that kind of thing, but you don't need some fancy website. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And I guess I should probably put an asterisk on that. That's market dependent. Some markets you probably have to, but I don't think anybody here is in one of those markets. Cool. How to create ugly ads. Any questions on that? Because I know I'm kind of bulldozing through this right now. No? Cool. Oliver's drinking his coffee so he can fuel up to ask questions. Okay. Targeting with your creative. As Facebook gets more and more into, they're trying to push you to use more and more of their algorithm, which one, we always want to play the games that Facebook wants us to play because they reward you when you play their games. Two, their algorithm, as we lose the ability to micro target more and more and more, as there's EU restrictions, iOS restrictions, their algorithm can still do a lot of the things that we used to be able to target. It just does it outside of plain sight, if that makes sense. So we have to find other creative ways to target, not just from picking our audience. So we do this with our creative. So we want to make sure that we have supreme clarity. When you have clarity, it cuts through your nose, through the noise that's out there. Because social media, all it is just a bunch of noise. Highly targeted ads, they don't appeal to everyone. For example, if I ran an ad that said, chiropractors, stop losing patients. I'm not talking to anybody here, obviously. And right away, that ad might flounder a bit for a few days, but eventually the algorithm's going to say, oh, I should, I don't know, show this to more people who are chiropractors, right? Or one of the things that we did recently is I switched this community where we're no longer talking to anybody that wants to run ads because I got a bunch of leads of people that want to run e-com ads, and I don't want to do that. So every single ad now says coaches dot dot dot, same copy we had before. And right away, guess what happened? We went from $2 leads to like $8 leads. And then the next day we had $6 leads. And then the next day we had $4 leads. And then the next day we're back to $2 leads because there's enough of those people out there. We just had to retrain the algorithm with our creative. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. Reliability beats perfection. Niche audiences respond better to ads that feel authentic. So if you have a smaller audience, Alex, this is probably not you. Kazim, this would probably be you. Tina, this would definitely be you. They respond better to authenticity. Tina, especially your market. Your market's going in a very vulnerable place. The more authentic you can be, the better. So what you want to do is have very just quick problem solution type messaging. It's very clear what the problem is. It's very clear that you have the solution for it or what you don't have to paint. You're not selling anything right there, but your marketing needs to just be problem solution based. Clear problem, clear solution. Bunch of clarity. Not like dancing around the fact, right? Just say, hey, do you have this problem? This is a solution. Whether it's a lead magnet, whether it's a direct ad to book a call, whatever it is, it's got to be very clear. What's this next one say? Easy recognition of relevance. Oh, there needs to be an immediate response. It needs to be relevant right away to the person consuming it. It can't be like vague or I'm not sure because again, people are scrolling through social media and they're making these micro decisions in a fraction of a second. If it's not immediately relevant, bye. I've got a meme to watch. Cool. Common pitfalls with targeting with creative. I think the main one is it's just too generic. So you can do ugly ads, but if it's like a painfully blatant stock photo, right? Like I just threw this in here, this is just a random video. If I did this and then like threw some text over and said, "Hey, I'll teach you ads," no one's responding to that. It's too generic, right? I see that all the time on my feed and I just cringe. It's like when people first learn social media and they kind of just, and this is not an attack. I don't think anybody here does this, but maybe somebody will watch the replay that does this where you just kind of like post a bunch of reels that are like stock images or videos. And I just cringe because it's like nobody's ever going to respond to that. People are just going to have banner blindness right away. What does this one say? Ad fatigue. Yeah, high quality polished ads. They look like traditional ads. People have their blinders on. Another common pitfall is misaligned messaging. And I already mentioned this example, but our program we used to say want to learn ads, and now we say we'll learn more than your $3,000 a month agency. It's just a subtle messaging shift where now we're speaking more to the people that we actually want to be working with. The takeaway is this though, you're often saying the same thing, you're just saying in a different or better way. And this is the ultimate form of targeting. So how to do this tactically, right? Use bold text, keep visuals minimal. If, for example, my kind of rule of thumb when I'm running my own ads is if it can't be visible from a right column, so right column placement, if you go on Facebook right now, those little ads you see at the top corner that are just like one tiny little square and then some text, if it's not roughly clear what that ad is from that like basic of a view, your ad your your ad creative is too complex. I wish I should have put a picture here so I better explain it, but sometimes I'll see people have these ads where it's like there's text all over and it's like, heading, subheading, some basic font, it's explaining all these things. Nobody cares. Nobody's reading that. So if it's not clear what it is from a right column format, it, just start over. Don't use that. Show specific context, make sure it's highly relevant to your niche, and tailor your creative and your copy for pain points and benefits. We already talked about that. Cool. So testing and iterating. Ooh, that's a good video for this. Sometimes I surprise myself. That was good. Okay. Who knows who that guy is? Whoa. How did, oh, okay. I didn't know you could do that. Who knows who that guy is? Anybody? No, come on, Oliver. Get out of here. That'd be like if I walked up to the Pope and asked if I knew who Jesus was. This is
David Goggins, is it not?
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, this is Kim Kardashian. No, this is for those anybody that doesn't know. This is Alex Hormozy. Um, if you're between the ages of like 20 and 35, this is probably your Jesus. Um, but he's a marketer, and I put him in here because there's a few things he taught. But let's start at the top. So testing and iterating. Start with 2 to 4 angles depending on your budget. So if you're launching from scratch, the way you want to set up your ads, if you have a smaller budget, I would recommend campaign budget optimization. The difference between campaign optimization and ad budget optimization, two main differences. It's where you put the budget. So if you're spending from a campaign level, so when you go to set up their ad, there's campaign, there's ad set, there's ad. If you're deciding your budget at the campaign budget or at the campaign level, that is CBO. If you're putting in the budget at the ad set level, that's called ABO. Just technical terms, doesn't mean a ton. Why would you choose one or the other? What's the difference? Ad set budget optimization gives you more control. It allows you to force the spend into specific ads. Campaign budget optimization traditionally is used when you know you have winners and you can kind of let the algorithm do more, right? It can spread your budget how it wants to. Um, yeah, I guess that's probably the simple way to put it. When you have a smaller budget, you want to do the best of both worlds. So you still need to force your budget to certain ads, but set it up where you still use campaign budget optimization. So you do one campaign, one ad set, 2 to 4 ads. Make sense? And those 2 to 4 ads, the only differences are the angles, usually just the angles with the creative. So same audience, obviously, because the audience is done at the ad set level. I would even do the same copy if possible. The only difference would be the creative with a slightly different angle. So for us, I might have an ad that says, the one we've been running is learn more from this free course than you do from your $3,000 a month agency. Then that's kind of targeting a market who is like familiar with somebody else running their ads. Then I might have tested another angle that is um, let somebody else handle your ads. You kind of it's different angles, but to the same core problem. Does that make sense? That was a really bad example, but okay. Um, then with your winning angle, just test creative as much as your budget allows you. Test, 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 test. Only after you have winning messaging and angles, go back and test videos. Unless you're somebody who's already a master marketer, trying to test videos first is like, I think I used this example with Kazim earlier. It's like donating money to Facebook every month. Like you're just giving money away at that point. So, um, the only new or the only asterisk I would put on that is if you're running ecom and you already have like really good, like, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, like explainer videos, you can test with those. That's fine. This is why I have Alex's picture on here. He said the difference between 99% of the 99% of marketers and the top 1% is just how much creative they test. And he said it in a slightly different way. I'm paraphrasing. I think the actual stat was that the top 1%, the only difference is they test creative 11 times more. Like it's something drastic. They just test a lot of creative. That's it. So the bottom line with all of this is test a lot, then let your data decide. None of this is emotion driven. It's all data driven. Your key metrics are going to be your cost per click, your cost per lead, and your cost per acquisition. Cool. Cool. I think that's it. So if you want more, more help with making ads that work and you want a guarantee behind it. So this is for anybody that's currently spending more than $10,000 a month on ads, which I don't think anybody on this live call is, but that's okay. My agency will run your ads for you. We'll double your ROAS or we'll do it for free. If you're not there yet, I still want to help. I think all of you know this because I've done this with all of you. I'll personally do a 15-minute ad review for anyone that's listening to this. No strings attached. Just book a call with me. I think everybody here's done it, so I probably don't need to like send you a link. If I'm posting this replay somewhere, I'll make sure there's a link below the video where you can book that. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to at least get you in the right direction. So that someday you can be spending more on ads, and someday I can run those ads for you. Questions?